I made this painting using only 5 colors and oils. If there's one thing I'd like you to learn from this, it's that less is more. Here are all the materials we are using in this project. So essentially I'm using the Zorn palette plus cobalt turquoise. The canvas that I'm using is a panel. Basically I sanded this thing down and painted some yellow ochre, which is now dry. And I'm gonna come in with my smaller brush and start to design this thing. Oh, I would say like right about here. And then we've got some mountains which read relatively flat, maybe a little dip. And the great thing about landscape is you can definitely take some liberties in terms of your design. I'm gonna put my moon right about there. So now I'm gonna add this mountain right here, and all of this will evolve. So I'm putting in a rough sketch. That's all you really need. Love this sand dune, how it curves, something like this, going up, going over, keeping my shapes nice and simple. And the mixture I'm using, by the way, is yellow ochre and a touch of black, just getting big, huge blocks of information down. But most important is the design. It keeps your eye circulating through the piece. Using plenty of thinner here to make my paints nice and thin. This way, and again, creating some sense of depth and movement towards this main subject here. Make sure that your design looks good before you start filling in the colors. So I'm gonna start kind of laying in color here, like so. And if you guys are wondering why I use this yellow ochre background, it's real simple. If I was to miss a part in my painting and that color shine through, I don't feel like that would ruin the painting. In fact, I feel like it would add to it. Go all the way through here, rub in my color, something like this, all the way through. Notice I'm not trying to make this super smooth. I want it to look like a painting. Further down into this area, and that goes right across, right in this space right here. Just kind of hint at that moon. And I'm just gonna go up and down and side to side. We're gonna make those mountains in the background. Now I'm also thinking a little bit about edge. I don't want this to read too soft. What we call this is a firm edge. It's somewhere between a soft and a sharp edge. There's some blue there that I'm actually gonna ignore because I find it distracting. It pulls away, pulls your eye into a part of the canvas that I just don't find that interesting. But I do find this very interesting. So let's see what we can do there. So here's a slightly darker color. I don't want my mountains too saturated. The darker I make them, the more they come forward. Pretty much the lightest I can get away with. So it's definitely darker than what's here, but it's significantly lighter than the photograph. So I'm intentionally going for a slightly warmer, but lighter color. The warmth is going to pull the color forward. I am gonna soften some of these edges. And it's my intent for the color to get a little darker as it comes forward. That way I can get some sense of depth going here. And I'm gonna exaggerate how dark this is. This will read a lot darker. And that's one of the ways that I'm gonna get this sense of distance. Nice and dark right over here. And because I really want your attention down here more than I do here, I'm gonna allow for some of that underpainting to show, not getting too dark, too high. The brush stroke is intended to help you understand the contour of the space, right? This kind of sense of movement. And this is something that Van Gogh was exceptionally good at. So I'm just looking for the general shape here. I'm not trying to get anything exact. I like the idea of this being tucked in that groove right there. All right, let's get this part in. Just slowly building this all out. So there's only 3 ways that you can show distance. One is through value. The other is through size. So you can make these big, you can make those small. And then the final is edge, where you can really soften things to really knock them back and push them out. Here, I will go dark. So now I'm gonna come in with my darks and I'm keeping it subtle. So moving back into the background, I'm definitely gonna go with a lighter tone background to these guys, but basically the midground. Go with as little detail as possible, just enough to keep the eye entertained, but not overwhelmed. Few of these details, not a bad idea. I do like them. And again, I'm gonna squint, I'm gonna look back, trying to get a sense of what we've got going on here. My current thoughts are whether or not this reads well, whether it needs to be further saturated, what's going on here, and if the sky is working for me. I'm just coming in with a little bit more color. And just like when you paint a wall, you'll see that the second coat always looks better. And a lot of times I'll come in with a fan brush to really just soften it up. As I'm crawling up from the color that I started with, which is basically that orange mixture and white, I'm adding that turquoise, the cobalt turquoise. And what I'd rather do is soften up the moon and deal with bringing that back to life than painting around it and having these really awkward edges. And what I love is that there's still little bits and tiny bits and pieces of that yellow undercoat that's coming through. There's always 3 components to every landscape painting. You've got your background, your midground, and your foreground. And it's always gonna be a question of which one you're gonna give the most amount of weight to. I wanna give this area the highest degree of contrast so that that pulls forward, then this, and then this. But I do wanna create some sense of a little bit of a darker tone right here, just to separate the forms. Okay, so I like what we have here, except for the edge being a little sharp. I do see an opportunity to push some yellow into this area, which will give it a little bit of a punch. So our background, midground is done. What can we do to really push our foreground? Shadows, that's for sure. So this is almost a black that I'm bringing in. It's black with just a little bit of that yellow ochre. And same here, right? I'll keep that one less intense. Now the photo will tell you to make this darker, but then I'm just pulling something that belongs further back forward. It makes a lot more sense to bring that value down here. Right here, I'm definitely seeing some heat, shadow and heat. So I'm gonna add some red in there, right? And again, the texture is different because it's landing on the sand. Great place to hit it right here, which I see in the photograph again. Same kind of thing. By flattening all of this and really making it into a straight line, I'm pushing it back. I'm really knocking it back. As things move back, they flatten off. So the key to a painting like this is to make sure that each of these bushes or shrubs, whatever they are, have their own key characteristics. All of them different in size, all of them different in placement. Some of them may even overlap. By way of value, especially all of these guys, they all pretty much read the same. So I want to make one extra dark. Really trying to push those darks in there. And the last thing I want to do is, again, variety is the key. Our brains are pattern finding machines, and if all of this looks homogenized and it's pretty much all the same, then what's going to happen is you're going to get super bored super quick. So on occasion, we're going to make something maybe a little more yellow, maybe a little more warm. I don't think there's ever a place where you're actually fully done with a painting. It's just a question of where is a good place for us to pause and if it feels right. There's two questions that I always ask myself at the end. Is there anything I can add to this to make it a stronger composition and to tell the story better? If there isn't, the other question that I'm going to ask is, what if I take something away? Would that help? And if those two questions are no, then typically that's what I call a finished painting. So I'm gonna let this dry and then put a little signature. I might put in one or two details depending on how it dries, but for the most part, this is 99% done.
For a free color guide like we use here at the studio, check out the link in the description.
Thank you guys for watching. We hope to see you in the next video.
Bye for now.
Bye guys. I always need to warm up.
For a free color guide. Oh my god.